try to shut you off. So this is a very dangerous trend that is going on at this time. And very frankly, my freedom of expression to me is a sacred freedom. I will, as long as the Constitution is still the official Constitution, I will continue to defend my ability to express myself freely. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Suhail.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, you have the floor.
No, Jazakallah khair, keep going.
I'm just talking about freedom of expression. For the first time since I came to this country in 1969, I see an attempt to curb the freedom of expression. Some people try to shut you off if you are opposing their viewpoint, and that's not this is not what we're accustomed to or expect in the United States. But this is going on right now, you know. And next step is to, if you have a different opinion and you want to express it, you go to jail. I mean, yeah, I mean, well, I thought the first attempt to curb my freedom to speak is unheard of, but now that it is, the next step, maybe it's plausible also. I don't know.
In some European countries, it's even worse. They preventing
in Great Britain.
Yeah.
If you express pro-Palestinian feeling, you go to jail.
France and Germany. Yeah.
Here you go. Here you go.
Ya Allah. The brother Muhammad,
he's with us. He's driving.
He's driving.
And he's still here. I can see him.
Okay.
And most likely he can hear us. Here he is.
I think you are muted, Muhammad. Muhammad.
You are muted, brother. He can't hear us.
Yeah.
Muted both ways. Yeah. Now he can.
No, still muted. We can't hear you, Muhammad.
This doesn't show that he's muted, but we can't hear him.
What about now?
Yeah.
Now we can hear you.
Yes, the car was muting me. It's like working against me or something. The car
was it made in Israel, the car?
Germany.
Here we go.
So I mean, these days I saw like some officials like Nikki Haley. She was the U.S. representative at the UN. And she's saying, finish them, kill them, or something. Can somebody like that, I mean, that's not a free speech. Is that correct?
That's if anybody else said it, it will be hatred and inciting people and big problem, violence.
Imagine if you say that on Jum'ah about the others,
right? Anti-Semitism.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not gonna stop there. It's gonna be maybe criminal or something if you say that. I mean, the media these days, it's very clear. It's totally biased. I mean, you just see different against the mainstream. Some here and there, maybe. I saw somebody at MSNBC. I think he's originally Muslim or something. But on the other, most of them are against. I mean, they just carry the government or the administration viewpoint, and they are not listening to the other side. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any prepared comment. If anybody wants to start, Brother Jalal or Suhail. Or anybody? I mean, Dr.
If I'm to make a statement, I was in Beirut, a student in 1967, when on June 5th, students sang open the door and said, war's broken out, and we all panicked and jeered and screamed. And then curfew took place. And 5 days later, when air corridor was opened, government of Afghanistan sent a plane to pick us students and bring us back home. And it's so sad. It's so sad that as a human race, we have not been able to overcome whatever happened then. Since then, it's now 50 so many years. And what's going on? I have great difficulty to be optimist about a future, and a future where we cannot put a point in time. 10 years later, 20 years later, could it be next century? I hope. Well, obviously, I wouldn't be around, but what about my grandkids and everybody's grandkids? Even grandkids of those who are in Africa or in Australia or in the Middle East. I think the world changed significantly after 9/11, and who is to tell how it will end up? That I've been feeling the pain, emotional pain of these things that are developing and happening. Almost realizing there's virtually nothing I can help with. In the lectures that we have been hearing all these Sundays, what Dr. Anush constantly, rightly speaks about improvement of the self as humans, and how it is that we constantly are failing, regardless of whether we are Muslim or not Muslim. God is the God of all, and he created the human race. But we human race are making catastrophic mistakes as we have been doing. And that's all I can say. That's all I would say. It's very sad.
طيب
I yield.
Yeah. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Man, we all are aware of the and following with a lot of pain the what's going on. It's a genocide, ethnic cleansing, uprooting people, something unprecedented. Probably we thought that will never happen again. Targeting hospitals. Most of the people who were killed are women and children. Wiping out whole neighborhoods and apartment buildings completely. Wiping out families. Some last names do not exist anymore in Palestine. So we have the option either to do what most Muslims are doing and have been doing, to watch, spend a lot of hours watching, thinking that we are doing something. And then when we get together, we complain, we describe, we blame, we express our pain, and then we go. That option is on the table, and it has been the option for so long. Now, for so long, our involvement in politics has been description and complaining. We sit down and we talk about issues, but we focus. What we do mostly is describing what's going on. After spending hours watching and reading and following the news, and then when we get together, we spend more hours talking about issues and maybe complaining, finding explanation that can make us feel good. It's like taking painkillers, but most of the time do nothing about it. And we have the other approach that have been calling for, which is the Islamic approach, is to confront the reality as is, no matter how shocking and how ugly it is, confront the realities, the brutal facts, and then take responsibility for what happened and take responsibility for changing it. That's the Islamic approach. قل هو من عند أنفسكم فبما كسبت أيديكم. We need to ask ourselves why this is happening, why Muslim lives is so cheap, why this is happening without consequences, why 2 billion Muslims are almost irrelevant. They have no say even in their own matters. This is, I think, the question that we should be asking. I mean, in my khutbah, I addressed both the short term. Of course, Palestinians cannot wait until we fix all these problems. The short term is to try to educate the public about the Palestinian cause, very just cause. We are the ones who are lousy and inefficient. They say this is a very just case, but in the hands of very lousy lawyers. We were not able to articulate it, to communicate it to people who are fair-minded. Forget about those who are biased and those who are bigots. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the fair-minded, the masses, the fair-minded people around us. They have no clue. A lot of them, unfortunately, they bought the media message that because if you listen to the Western media in general, with very few exceptions, they try to make you believe that before the Hamas attack, things were very smooth, very peaceful. Everybody was happy. Life was very nice. And suddenly, this attack came out of the blue. There was no occupation. There was no settlement. There was no desecration of the Aqsa Mosque. There was no abuse in the West Bank. There was no provocative rhetoric and action from this radical government, right-wing government. None of this existed. There was no occupation. There was nothing. So that's, I cannot blame them. People don't have, I mean, you cannot blame your opponent or your whatever for doing their job. You only blame yourself for not doing your job. As Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu said, اللهم إني أعوذ بك من جلد الفاسق وعجز الثقة. He seeks refuge from the hard work of the wrongdoers and the laziness of the people who have just cause, or the righteous people. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من جلد الفاسق, hard work of the wrongdoer, وعجز الثقة, and the righteous, the laziness and the inefficiency of the righteous. So in the immediate approach, of course, we cannot make up for our failure for so long, because we were not able to establish ourselves in this country as an impactful community, as a community that has an impact. There is a way to do this, but it cannot happen overnight. We need to forget about getting anything done overnight. It happened through very consistent efforts over the years of civic engagement. And I'm talking about civic engagement, I mean every Muslim. I don't mean only some Muslim organization or some Muslim activists who are civically engaged and we are happy that they are doing it. No, that every Muslim should do this. And then not only during crisis or during election, but day in, day out. The civic engagement, when you start to be aware of what's going on in your city, in your neighborhood, in your state, and to be involved in domestic issues, and to be involved. And when you get involved, you're going to find yourself working with others, because almost every issue in this country will produce coalitions for and coalitions against. you will find yourself working with those groups and those people. And then when you call on them to support you, like in this case for Palestine, they will join. You will get to know them, they will trust you, they will listen to you. When you educate them about Palestine and the root cause of the problem, they will listen to you, and then they will join you, because there are a lot of people who have good hearts. We have seen that in Black Lives Matters, most of the demonstrators were white, not black. And we have seen people demonstrating everywhere in the world. So that's what happens if you are able to articulate your case and disseminate it widely. Especially now we have all the social media available for us, etc. So in the short run, we need to try to make up for years of isolations and lack of not doing the job or not doing it properly, and reach out, as much as possible, and take advantage of every opportunity to mention the facts, to show. In the Jumu'ah, I brought a map from Washington Post. It exists everywhere, the maps of disappearing Palestine. There is a website called Disappearing Palestine. And you see the map before 1947, 100% Palestine, then 55, then 40 with something, then 22, then 15%, etc., etc. That I probably can say, I'm sure that majority of Americans have no clue. Don't know that. That's simple fact. Actually, many Muslims maybe don't even know it. So we need to do that. We need to be able to articulate. So in the short run, we do whatever we can. Yes, I'm not expecting people to join us because we did not join them before, because we were not involved in their issues, even though they are Islamic issues. Those who are working for social justice, that's an Islamic issue. Those who are working for equal pay between men and women for the same work, that's an Islamic issue, because that's adl, that's justice. Those who are working for environmental justice, that's an Islamic issue. Those who are working against any discrimination, those who are working for fair immigration law, there's so many issues that are there in this country, and we're not there. We are not there, and that's why when we have our own issues and we try to market it, we don't get any response, especially that we don't even market it right. Until now, some people, and probably majority of people, are presenting the Palestinian cause as an issue of Muslims and Jews, religious. You do that, you lose it. Religious, they will evoke, this is the Jews were living there before, and we get nowhere. We get lost. This is an issue of independence, self-determination, occupation, settlement, racist government, apartheid. That's it. That's what international law, that's what we should be focusing on. So our approach should be different. And second, we have to be credible, because if you start by justifying killing the Israeli civilians, nobody will listen to you after that, because you're committing the same mistake. They're trying to demonize the Palestinians to justify killing them. You come and say, no Israeli civilian, everybody, they deserve what happened to them. That's it. First of all, Islamically is wrong. Women, children should be spared in war, should not be killed, should not be taken as hostages, should not be even harmed. So credible, one standard. If anybody has double standard, we should not commit the same mistake. Now we are asked to be fair regardless. كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله ولو على أنفسكم أو الوالدين أو الأقربين, etc. There are no ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على أن لا تعدلوا. There is no, Islam did not leave any room for us not to be fair. So you are credible, and this is what I mentioned in Jumu'ah. First of all, there was killing of civilians and taking them hostages during the attack, yes. And that's wrong. That's considered a war crime. Whether Hamas planned that or it was part of the chaos that was created, doesn't matter, but it happened, and it is wrong. And then when you especially now at this time, you want to talk about the Palestinian cause, please focus on the suffering of the Palestinian people and on the fairness and justice of the cause of the Palestine and the root cause. Don't waste your time and don't lose your case trying to defend the particular group or defend what they do, because that's a losing battle. Now the media is there, propaganda is there, they succeeded already. So there is no, and we are not, it's not our job to defend a particular group or to defend what they do. Our job is to advocate the Palestinian cause, the suffering of the Palestinian people now, and then the injustice that was inflicted on them for 75 years. That's the focus should be when we're talking, and when you are fair and credible and use facts and use historical facts, use there are so many statistics there about how many children are killed. Not now, always. Children are being killed all the time, and the abuse of settlers and the miserable life that the Palestinians are living. I mentioned in Jumu'ah, I said, ask Palestinian Americans what they go through when they go to Palestine for visit. If a Palestinian American with American passport go through all that miserable treatment and mistreatment and humiliation when they go to visit, imagine the life of the Palestinian who's living there. That's what they go through day in, day out. That's what the public does not know. Why? Because we didn't do our job. And when we do it, we don't do it right. We raise some issues, some slogans that basically we're talking to ourselves. We're not talking to the mainstream. And if you don't get the mainstream with you, I mean, we can do demonstration every day, but if we are the only ones who are going out, it's not going to click. If you don't build, if you don't rally a coalition behind it, and you articulate it so that you convince Americans that the policy, the United States policy, one, is wrong, morally wrong, and two, is futile. It does not serve the American interest. So it is unfair to support Israel blindly and to give them blank check to kill, license to kill. That's morally wrong, but also, if you want to talk in politics, that does not serve the U.S. interest. What serves the U.S. interest is to invest in peace, not to support war, is to invest in peace and to try to implement whatever peace agreement was there, so that the Palestinians can have state on fraction of their land. They can have a state, and it can be secured by international peacekeeping, and the issue can be over. But just because of some fanatics, politicians, and settlers who are driving the whole world into this mess and this tragedy. And rather than a superpower try to put brakes on that, they joined the wave. And then we have seen the really disgusting stand of the United States and officials, and some of the statements that they almost echoing what the Israeli officials are saying. It's very shameful. So that's in the short term. Try to do whatever we can, educate, try to mobilize. We are not able even to mobilize Muslims. How many Muslims there are in this area? How many of them are doing anything for the cause? Anything. Participating in a demonstration or reaching out to their public official to express their frustration with the stands, or to demand that they do anything. I wish we have statistics, but there will be shocking. We're going to be shocked to see that a very small fraction of Muslims who are doing anything for Palestine, anything meaningful, tangible. Forget about spending hours watching. That's not going to help Palestinians. And sitting down and talking about it, that's not going to help. But doing something about it, I doubt it. So in the short term, try to do whatever we can to stop this madness, to force the Israeli to open the door for humanitarian aid, to lift this stupid, inhuman, subhuman blockade when you cage 2 million people and then you deprive them from water and electricity and food and fuel, etc. That should be the focus now. But in the long run, we're going to have to ask that questions. Until when we're going to continue to be weak? Until when we're going to be very far away from the model of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and from the status that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for us to be a model and leading community. There is probably hardly any time before. I mean, today, Muslims are in desperate need for transformation and paradigm shift more than any time before, and the world is in dire need for Islam more than any time before. There is a big vacuum there that is calling for us to fill it, but not with the current versions of Islam, because the current version of Islam, we know where they got us. They got us to a point where 2 billion of us are irrelevant. But rediscovering that original Islam, inspiring and empowering, embracing our mission, and then step in to fill that void and vacuum. The world nowadays is so chaotic, so messy, is in dire need for the guidance of Islam, and for Muslims to step in and to show the way, guide, and fix or prevent this from getting even much worse.
Dr. Suhail, may I add to what you said something that you mentioned, but I like to put a lot more emphasis on it. Unless each one of us write their congressmen, their senators today, and express their opinion, we are useless, totally useless. I am sick and tired of the avalanche of videos that I'm receiving. Instead of sending me a video, send it to your congressman or to your senator. That's what you need to do. Your voice count in this country. You're somebody right here, right now. Make your voice heard. I have on my Facebook the addresses of congressmen and senators for Virginia. Make sure you write them. Send them videos. Write them a note. Send them a copy of a Facebook caption or whatever. But communicate with your official representatives. That's who you need to communicate to. Stop communicating with each other. If we only talk to each other, we're talking to ourselves. It's like talking in the mirror. That is not good. We need to communicate to those who shape the public opinion. We need our official representatives in the US government and in the state of Virginia, for instance. We need to educate them. Dr. Suhail said, educate your sphere of influence, the people around you. Well, those are people around you. Believe it or not, they will listen if you only try. And from here on, if we want to be influential, we need to join hands. Each one of us individually is irrelevant. Together, we're more important. And we're fortunate to live right here next to the government seat. So what's wrong with us forming a committee and going to see our congressmen and senators? They cannot say no. They have to see us, especially if we are persistent. They will have to see us, and they have to listen to our opinion. Some time ago, I had time, and I made it my job to go down and knock on every congressman's door. Do you live in Kansas? No, I live in Fairfax, but I have few words for the congressman. Oh, you have 5 minutes. What do you have in mind? Then I'll talk about the Palestinian issue, the Middle East issue. I'm not asking you to do this. I'm asking you to send those videos you're sending me Send them to your congressman and senator with a note saying, this is where I stand. Please respect my views. That's all. I mean, this is how we can be more effective. So, I mean, it's obvious, and we just need to do it.
And I wish, inshallah, one day we reach a point where each and every Muslim, like other communities who are very effective in this country, each and every Muslim should be doing this automatically.
Yes.
You're watching the news, you don't like a coverage, you see it, buys it, go to the website of that channel and then send your comment, or go to their Facebook page and do something. Comment. Something like this happening, immediately. You always have, they made it very simple nowadays. I think there is a website where if you enter your zip code, you can get directly, you'll be given a chance to email your congressman.
Let's find them and send and put them on
Yeah.
the intellectual conversation
Yeah.
website, so everybody can see them and they will have no excuse.
Yeah,
It's called
inshallah.
Iqamat al-Hujjah.
Yeah, so you don't immediately, you know that you have a congressman, you have someone representing you in Congress, and you have 2 senators. Their emails should be there all the time, accessible. Whenever you don't like something, whenever you want to call for something, you make it a routine, habit, etc. First of all, discharging your duties in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At least that's all what you had. What you could do, you did it. And second, don't underestimate, because one email may not do anything, but 200, 300, 1,000, etc. will have an impact, will put some breaks. Don't expect any change, complete change overnight. It's not going to happen. We need to forget about this, because a lot of time Muslims are not active. Why? Because they say, we tried, we demonstrated, we talked to our representative, and nothing happened. No, nothing is going to happen the first time. It's not like you sleep all your life and then when you wake up, you think that the whole world is going to change for you. You are making up for years of inactivity and passiveness and inefficiency. You need to be patient and you need to be consistent. Remember that the most beloved deeds to Allah are the ones that are consistent, persistent, even if they are small. So let's stop about thinking, oh, we demonstrated and nothing happened. I talked to my representatives and nothing changed. No, nothing is going to change by one demonstration or overnight. But if we take the civic engagement as our mission, that we need to be civically engaged in all issues, not the Muslim issues. In all issues, anything that is there, we find out what Islam has to say about it, and we take that position and advocate it, and then we're going to find ourselves working with others and joining hands. And with time, you will start to be very much connected. So when there is a case like this, and you call for those people you worked with in years, for years you have been working with them, those groups will join you in demonstration, those groups will join you in signing a petition, and then you will be much more impactful.
Any comments?
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Avnish, and everyone.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I heard about teachers who bring these comments and their support of Israel, and I think this is a violation, right? So what's the right step parents should take?
Where did she put the comment?
On the it was on Facebook. Let me see. She put it on the website. So one of them, they said on the board website, and then they send their complaints, and it was taken out. They put the flag with the support of Israel. I think it's Firefox, yeah. And then others say they are teachers in school. They make this comment in class. So like, what do we tell our kids?
If somebody is, I'm not really an expert in this. If somebody has more experience dealing with schools, but the first thing that came to mind is for you to go and talk to the teacher or to the principal, because there are some norms in this country that politics and religion and etc. should not be involved in class, and so even if it is on Facebook, teachers should really refrain from. I mean, I remember the universities have been telling faculty and student to be very careful about what they post in social media, because that may cause friction in the classroom and in the relationship between professors and students, etc. So even on their own Facebook pages, never mind if it is a school page or if it is an official page, that's not acceptable. No teacher or principal should take advantage of their ability to post things on the school website or the Board of Education or any official website to express their political opinion. But if somebody has more experience dealing with the education system, please go ahead. Not talking to the teacher, talking to
Assalamu
the
alaikum.
principal. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, Brother Muhibbullah, I think he's with us. Brother Muhibbullah, you want to add, you have maybe more experience than me in this subject. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I don't think so. So start with that as a parents. Either reach out to the teacher or you can go to the principal directly. Normally, it should not be tolerated.
And then, okay,
You
inshallah.
should reach to the school board too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to the meeting or talk to the supervisor from on the school board in your area and raise this issue.
Inshallah. Thank you so much for these suggestions. I'll post that on Facebook to the parents who share their concerns.
Especially if it comes from more than one parent, it will be even more effective.
Yes.
Saying we don't, and the approach should be very simple, that we want our students just to focus on their studies and not to be, we don't need any polarizations in classrooms or any tension or friction in that, anything that will affect the student-teacher relationship.
Inshallah. And there was also another issue on this. There was a doctor who put a post on his Facebook page that if you're anti-Israel, you're anti-Semitic, and I'm not interested in treating you, find another doctor. And some sisters were saying that they tried to get treatment, but they were refused by this doctor. So unfortunately, the suggestion was to put a review and some people, I think they put negative reviews saying he's terrible, he's this and that, and I thought that's not, I don't know, but to me, like, I thought that is lying. Like, if you didn't get treatment, why would you say that about his profession rather than talking about his discriminative stance?
No, as a Muslim, we cannot lie, and we cannot lie, and nothing justifies that for us not to be fair. I mean, this doctor may be even in legal trouble because of what they're doing, but we cannot, because of that, say that he's poor doctor or he's not a good doctor. No, we can't. We need to live by values and principles, and we need to apply them strictly with everybody, regardless. We have a case. This is a discriminatory. I'm not sure about the legal, but maybe even in trouble legally. So people should consider the legal option, consider going to the medical board or board of medicine or whatever, and report what he does, because that's not what they pledge when they graduate as a physician. And 3, if you want to do review, then you do review for exactly what happened.
Fairly.
Yeah,
Without
fairly.
a lie.
No, without a lie. Say review.
Without a lie.
This doctor refused to treat me because I have a different opinion or because I belong to the particular community, and they consider that discriminatory. You cannot say this is not a good doctor. Can't.
Since Sister Amina is talking about Facebook, I need to bring up a subject. I consider myself an expert there. I have over 25,000 followers on Facebook. So we need to learn the art of accepting the other person's opinion and reply without hot emotions. If you see an opinion that you don't like, that you disagree with, regardless of the reason, try to reply in a logical, collected way. The more collected you are, the calmer you are, the more people would read your reply and appreciate it. So there is an art of how to recognize that the other opinion is opposed to yours and how to reply properly. If you want people's sympathy, you have
You're muted.
Yes, I understand. So please be careful how to reply, when to reply, and the material you use to reply. This is not something because I'm opposed to him, because he's against the truth, I'm going to try to destroy him. You can't destroy anybody on Facebook. You can simply show how collected you are, how smart you are, how wise you are by replying wisely. So, let's all learn that if we want to be on Facebook. This is different from what we were talking about before. Writing your congressman, you just tell him specifically how you feel about the issue. You don't try to be a politician here, because that's not the game we're playing. We are letting our congressman know how we feel. And if I feel that this is the wrong issue, I'm going to tell him specifically and plainly, I think this is the wrong issue, and I hope you vote against it. But on social media, or if you're interviewed by various means, try to be extremely wise about how you represent yourself, how you represent the cause you're trying to defend it, because it's up to you to make the best out of that opportunity. So let's be wise.
I want to add to this is always talk to those who are fair-minded. Don't waste your time responding to those who have an agenda or those who are biased or bigots. Focus on talking to the people who may be reading what you're writing or what you're saying, but may not be talking, may not be commenting on your page, but they may be reading. So focus on addressing the fair-minded people and be objective and honest and fair, precise, avoid rhetoric, avoid emotional language, try
extremes position, avoid extreme position.
Yes, stick to the facts, express your opinion clearly, try to distinguish between facts and opinion, because that's extremely important. Say these are, for example, when I say something about the Palestinian cause, these are the facts, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is my opinion about it. People appreciate that. People appreciate honesty, appreciate if you have only one standard, if you are objective, if you are wise, as Dr. Safi said. But unfortunately, a lot of Muslims, they go emotional, they respond the same way, they fall in the trap. They drag you to the trap of cursing and insulting and demonizing, and you do exactly the same thing. And then you lose the game. You lose completely. You always try to take the moral high ground. Be very firm in your opinion. Should not be weak or should not be apologetic. Be very firm, but that not aggressive. Don't use any language that is not appropriate, etc. With respect, but very firm in advocating your cause and your opinion and your principles.
On my page, I had some people this morning, 100% pro-Israel, who threw insults at me, and one of them threatened me. What I do, I usually neglect all this and reply to the facts. Does that require thick skin? Yes, it does. Does it hurt? Yes, it does. But at the end, I won that situation by neglecting, by not falling into his trap. I kept talking about what's right and about peace at the end game, because I am for peace on the long run. Personally, I think it's anti-Islamic to wish the annihilation of all the Israeli people. This is not what we do as Muslims. As Muslims, we want what's fair and just to all people. And then on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be the judge. We want to correct today the wrong that they are doing. We want them to stop their mass murdering innocent Palestinian people, women and children, and innocent people who are not involved. But the end game, we want peace for Israeli children and for Palestinian children. If they are so unwise and so cruel that they are bringing at the end a disaster for their own people, because this situation is not sustainable. They cannot continue to be the aggressors day in, day out for years. This situation, if we become wise and start writing about it and start talking about it and don't get excited only as a reaction to what the enemy is doing, you will drag them to sit on a table and negotiate, which is something they don't want to do today. But we need to be strategic. We need to see long-term. Dr. Suhail talked about a long-term vision, but did not go to details, because the long-term vision is not easy to talk about. On the long term, we have to sit with them on the same table. We have to negotiate. If you're thinking about anything else, you're kidding yourself. I've been watching this disaster happening throughout my life. I was 4 years old when Israel was created. I saw every Palestinian refugee when they came, and I saw the Palestinian refugee camps becoming a reality in Lebanon. I grew up with this. This problem, eat with me in my plate 3 times a day. Every time I'm eating, I can't stop thinking about what's happening to the Palestinian people. Not now, every day of my life. Right now, I sit and cry because I feel helpless. By the way, I want to thank everyone who went and joined the stand in front of the White House in Washington, D.C. yesterday. They are deserving of our gratitude. If we stayed at home and didn't join them, it was not, like Dr. Suhail, it will not change the situation drastically. But at least we have some people who invested time, invested energy, took down their children and their wives and stood right there in a heroic stance saying, we don't agree with you, Mr. President. You are wrong calling people for the annihilation of the people of Gaza. This is, I appreciate it, and I thank each one who participated in this for doing this. But this does not say we need to stop there. We need to write our congressman. Please, if you don't do anything the rest of the day, write your congressman. It's easy to find their names, addresses, and emails. All you have to do is ask Google, who are my congressmen in Virginia or the Washington, D.C. area or the district I'm in, and they give you names of everybody representing Virginia or your district. All you have to do is send the same email to all of them. If you make this a daily practice, they will hear you more. If you get your friends and family to do the same thing, they will hear you even more. This is what it takes to change the situation.
I also said that also part of what we should be talking about when advocate the cause is that this issue, this vicious cycle and deadlock that has been there for so long, and at its root cause is the occupation and the settlement. Before there was Hamas, before there was anything, that's where the problem was. And I said it even in Jumu'ah. You want to end Hamas? Very simple. We can give you the formula. Give the Palestinian normal, dignified life.
Yes.
And Hamas will disappear. There will be no reason for it to exist. I mean, it's not Palestinians, they want to die. Palestinians, like everybody else, they want to live. They want to raise their children. They are one of the, I think, the most educated people in the Arab world and probably in the Muslim world. The
Yes.
highest level of education, despite those conditions.
Yes.
To that extent, they care about educating their children, and that's what they want to do. And these people, they have been living without state for so long, but still managing. They should be saluted for that. Managing without any government that is providing any services for them. But they were just relying on themselves and making it somehow. So you want to end this violence, you want to end Hamas altogether, that's the way. That's the way. But thinking that killing and destroying is going to do anything, Palestinians are not going to leave and they're not going to surrender. So these two things, forget. And they are not going to accept this situation to continue. So you push them to the corner, that's what you're going to get. You go and kill and destroy, you will radicalize the population even more. Because some children today, they have seen what happened. What do you expect these children to be when they grow up?
Resist.
Yeah, and they find no hope, no prospect, nothing. And they have seen this level of destructions and killing, etc. What do you expect from them? So you want to end this and then end any attacks. It is an easy way. Palestinians will terminate Hamas by themselves if you give them normal, human, dignified life, their basic rights to live without being caged and without being humiliated and without being oppressed, without confiscating more of their lands as settlements.
Akh Basim, hands is up. Maybe he has something to say. Akh Basim. Only his hand is here.
Whatever you see.
Sorry, I am using the cell phone. I have problem.
Very small.
Okay.
Story.
On
But
one
this-
side,
Right.
you go on
Only one
CNN, you
side.
go that from France, from England, everywhere. Like I saw yesterday, the ambassador from Palestine to United Kingdom,
Mhm.
they keep pressuring him, asking, "Are you condemning this? Are you?" I said, why you question me to come? First of all, I don't represent Hamas. I represent.
Have you seen the video? There was a video of a group of people in Boston, I think, who camped in the front of the office of their senator. It was like a 1 minute. It was really very impressive.
Amazing. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
I will try to share it, inshallah, if you didn't see it, but it was really, they were talking to the chief of staff or whatever, saying your boss is whatever going for weekend, etc. And children in Palestine are being killed. We're not
Yes.
going anywhere. We need to talk to our congressman, to our senator. That's what everybody should have been doing. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, in addition to emails, probably it was a small group of people, but they just sat down in front of the office and they didn't want to leave. Maybe
Very
they will call the police for, but it already that video is gone.
Yes.
It's recorded and it is distributed.
By the way, they are American Christians who are 100% for the rights of Palestinians, and they're doing a lot today.
Yeah.
To support.
Yeah.
I'll name two for you. They're both women, and they're both friends with me on my Facebook. One is called Jessica Masro. She was in Jordan taking courses over there, and she was one of my children. I go once a semester and give a lecture to that group of American students who are spending a semester in the Middle East. Jessica Masro, find her on Facebook and take a look at her extremely wise, smart, intelligent, and informative videos that she prepares. And thank her, please, for the extreme hard work that she's putting in. The other is even more effective. Her name is Mercy Aiken. Mercy Aiken, go and visit Israel, Palestine every year and take groups to the West Bank, American Christian group, to visit the Bible College in Bethlehem, and to show those Americans that Palestinians are Christians and Muslims. And they used to welcome Jews among them before the creation of Israel. This is the kind of effectiveness we personally lack, because one of them is taking them there, educating them, and talking to them about the justice of the cause of Palestinians. She's on Facebook, and her posts are extremely informative and very, very, very effective among evangelicals especially. So please introduce yourself to these people so you can expand your horizon. Not everybody in the United States is against us if we are wise enough to speak to them and to educate them and to share a wise opinion with them. You can't say I'm 100% this or 100% that. 100% doesn't work. You have to see the other side and express your views intelligently, and then people will listen to you.
There were Jews that had the demonstration in New York, and the slogan was really the person who spoke was really very emotional about what people in Gaza is going through, and then the slogan was "Not in my name." I mean, we don't do that on our behalf as Jews. We don't accept that. And there are, I mean, it's, as I told you, this is a very just cause, but it's in the hands, the case in the hands of lousy lawyer. We just are not doing our job. And these people, most of them, they found out about the root cause by themselves. Because crises like this will lead people to be curious and to find out why these people are fighting, and then they will educate themselves. But that's the job that you should have been doing for so long. Right. Especially nowadays, with the tools that are available, every person can become a journalist. Yes. Everyone can have pictures and images and videos and facts and disseminate them.
And beware of lies. The social media is full of people producing lies. and trying to sell them to us, like the lie of decapitated babies that done by Hamas. Everybody saw the lie without seeing any pictures, and now we are trying to deny the lie, and it's very hard to deny it. It's just once a lie is repeated so many times, it becomes for some people a reality.
That's true.
So beware of lies.
Sorry, I didn't like to interfere because my view different about the views of the majority of people here. But I was in the morning walking with Indian guy. He told me the Prime Minister of India is much worse than Netanyahu. Netanyahu compared with the Prime Minister of India, he told me angel. He's very right wing, and he deal with 200 million Muslim in India. He considered them animals. And we as Muslim, we don't talk about it at all.
Yeah, but this is not mutually exclusive, Brother Abu Abdullah. It's not like either this or that, or if we fail, that's a failure for us not to be aware, fully aware of what we know something about what Indian Muslims are going through. And it's failure from our side not to do anything about it. But that's not to say, okay, if we're not doing anything about India, so let's not do anything about anybody. No. I mean,
Okay.
But it's not true that we're not doing anything. Sorry to interrupt. A lot is done by active Muslims. Maybe you haven't seen. Follow Dr. Muqtadir Khan. He produced a program called Khanversation, a play on words for conversation, called Khanversation. It's on YouTube. He's been talking about this for a long time. Watch my Facebook. I talk about it.
I know, but I didn't see Muslim organization here in America, like what they did before yesterday in DC. They go to DC to march for the Indian people.
I think they did, Abu Abdullah. Because I'm in the Adams, I see some actions happened and meetings and fundraising actually, like several stuff. Our Indo-Pakistan group is really strong in the area. Maybe maybe other nationalities like Arab or something don't participate in this, but I know they have done something, or not something. They have done a lot of stuff. But maybe we need to be aware of it and maybe participate, because sometimes we don't start moving or acting unless it's Palestinian or Syrian or something. So maybe that's another issue.
Also, Israel is not disease. Israel is symptom for disease. We need to treat the disease, not the symptoms.
The disease is simple. It's weakness.
You talk about it all the time.
It's weakness.
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 And no mission. If we don't treat the disease, the symptoms will stay. And we always working on the symptoms. We are not working in the disease.
And this
actually, yeah, go ahead.
This community is defined by a mission. That's what I've been saying for years, and I'm going to continue to say, inshallah. This community, we are a community defined by mission. If we fulfill it, we prosper, we get Allah's help. If we don't fulfill it, then we'll find ourselves in this terrible situation. Because there is something called defining mission. That's how this community came to existence. It came to existence to fulfill a mission. So when you don't, and it is that mission with the ultimate purposes of Islam that mobilize this community and unifies it. You abandon that mission, you go back to the pre-Islamic era when people are complacent and divided because
tribal in their attitude.
And tribal, yeah, because there is something called mission and maqasid that were removed from Islam or weakened. These are what mobilized this community and unified. This community is mobilized and unified by that mission and by leadership. Unity of leadership and unity of purpose and unity of leadership. We lost that for so long. Nowadays, you mentioned, you'll find probably some Indians working on the cause of Indian Muslims, Arabs working for some Arab cause. Even among ourselves, we are not really joining hands to work on this, on the one
Yes.
cause. Never mind being able to rally non-Muslim groups for our cause. Even among Muslims, we're still tribal or ethnic. Every group, they are advocating their own cause, and the ones praying next to them in the mosque have no clue about what's going on. That's how bad it is. Now, is it fixable? It is. We need always to remember that this religion was embraced by people who were idol worshippers and made that transformation. How about people who are already educated and have all these resources and all of these tools, etc.? It was embraced by idol worshippers in a desert, very poor, very short in numbers, tribes fighting each other all the time, and it produced that great success story. Unified these people, mobilized them, and created that very effective leadership model. We have to rediscover that Islam that was lost over the centuries. The Islam at the heart of it is that mission, life mission, and that mission is going to trigger everything else. That mission is going to trigger the tazkiyah process because it is big mission and it's very demanding. It requires people to be really strong and spiritually strong and healthy and educated, etc., to be able to fulfill it. So that will trigger the tazkiyah process. That will bring us together because it's a very demanding mission. It's like people are unified by what? People are unified either by crisis or by mission. Crisis unify people temporary.
Yes.
Crisis don't unify people for a few weeks or months. But mission is unifies people forever. So that triggers the tazkiyah process, bring us together, join hearts and minds, and force us to have a true leadership. Because that mission cannot be fulfilled without full mobilization, without tazkiyah, without unity, without leadership. So the requirements of that mission has a requirement. If we embrace it, then the whole paradigm, the whole Islamic paradigm, it's like, you know, the tent, you pull it up after you create the main support or whatever, and then you pull the whole. That's exactly what's going to happen. The Islamic paradigm at the heart of it is that mission. You build it, and then all the other mechanisms will be triggered. Now, you remove that mission, then all those mechanisms or engines will fail. No need for tazkiyah. If I don't have a mission, why should I do any tazkiyah? If I'm a player, soccer player, and they don't have, or football, and they don't have a games or competition, why should I push myself and work out? There is no game. There is no competition. It will kill the tazkiyah, the drive for tazkiyah. Why do we need to be united if we don't have a mission? Why do we need leadership? We only need a place to pray, and that's what we're doing. We just build a mosque to pray and provide some basic educational programs and services. Why? Because we are no longer mission-driven community and mission-driven individuals.
Let me talk about the mission. You said something extremely to the point when you said crisis unite people temporarily, but we need to be mission-driven. My mission is to be pro-justice anywhere it is, whether it is for the Palestinians, for the Syrians that we're not talking much about and they are oppressed, whether it is for the Muslims in India, or whether it is for a Christian oppressed in Indonesia. Anywhere there is an issue of justice, we should be on the side of justice. If we can be united around a clear mission, if we start clarifying objectives for this group and align ourselves behind these objectives that are specified, then a group will start growing. We are for the Palestinian because we believe their issue is an issue of justice. Once they became the oppressors, we're not with them any longer. But right now we are with them because they are oppressed. And anybody who is oppressed, we're on their side. This is basically what a mission means to me as an active Muslim.
Yeah, actually, Quran says it beautifully. First of all, talk about this community always as a community who stand for justice in all circumstances. And then talk about this community as a community that exists to promote everything that is good.
Yes.
And to work against anything that is an evil or
Yes.
unjust. But more than that, the beautiful verse in Surah Al-Hajj, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the responsibility and the mandate to defend the freedom of others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that that's an integral part of our mission, and if we don't fulfill it, then people will be oppressed. To tell us, وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لَهُدِّمَتْ صَوَامِعٌ وَبِيَعٌ. Did not even mention masjid first. صَوَامِعٌ وَبِيَعٌ وَصَلَوَاتٌ وَمَسَاجِدُ يُذْكَرُ فِيهَا اسْمُ اللَّهِ كَثِيرًا. If Muslims do not fulfill that mission of tadafa or civic engagement or standing up for justice or promote, then what's going to happen is mosques, synagogues, churches, etc., worship places will be destroyed, meaning that there will not be even freedom of worship. And in another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضًا بِبَعْضٍ لَفَسَدَتِ الْأَرْضِ. If Muslims do not fulfill that mission of tadafa, and tadafa is civic engagement.
And standing for justice.
Standing for justice and keeping one group of people in check by another, keeping those who are bigot, those who are spreading injustice or committing injustice by people who are standing. وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضًا بِبَعْضٍ لَفَسَدَتِ الْأَرْضِ. Yani, the earth will be, that's why I said there will be a lot of mischief on earth. That's why I start in the beginning by saying I don't think that never before we are in such dire need for transformation and change as Muslims, and for rediscovering the original Islam, and never before the world was in more dire need for Muslims to step in and to save it.
Jazakallahu khairan. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all this wisdom, mashallah. I think a lot of us are in in the state of hopelessness, feeling like seeing all this injustice over decades, and in the end we feel like nothing really changed. The oppressors continue to prosper while the oppressed is still dehumanized, and I think, and then we lack the wisdom to respond to all this, and in the end it backfires against us. Like the issue of the doctor, the doctor was like, all this negative comment are from people who are supporters of terrorist Hamas. They're not my patient, and I'm going to take legal action against them, or such things. So I think maybe with responding with wisdom, I don't know if the masajid are doing anything about it, or maybe we need more workshop to educate on, because also it breeds extremism, and we don't want to see anything happens overreaction of that. So we need leaders like you, Dr. Safi, Dr. Ghannouchi, to come out more, maybe on Facebook, on your channels, and also maybe workshop on masajid. I'm not sure if maybe there are, we are not really aware. And then also, I wanted to, about the interfaith groups, we need to be this is the time that we need to work, like you say, Dr. Ghannouchi, to work in a collective manner, to participate together with the general community, to be involved. And I think maybe especially like our friend Hugh has shown so much interest, but I'm not sure if we are really active with this their group. And even they have now invited us for an event next week, and maybe these issues might come up. So we should, what's the best way we can engage and maybe plan for more activities to get more programs. Yeah, that's my point. Thank you so much again.
A lot of work is needed, and also not only quantity but also efficiency. We really need to be able to articulate the cause in a way that is efficient. Anything that you wanna advocate it right, you have to make it a mainstream issue, because in the minds of the Americans, why should I care? Of course, you should be addressing the moral issues and the principle and the values, etc., and the human, but also try to make it an American issue, because what is going on does not serve the American interest. So the two work on both fronts. One is, this is morally wrong. We always stand for human rights. This is not, this kind of policy is not consistent with what we claim to be for democracy, for human rights. And then, in addition to the moral front, then you need to focus on the other front, which is, even if you care about the interest of the country, that does not serve the interest of the country. That is now going to make us liable for everything that the Israelis are doing, because we gave them that blank check and blind support.
Can I make an announcement right now? Yeah. There is a group here in this area called Muslim Response USA. And, I was invited to go to their dinner and fundraising that's going to be held around the end of the month. If you care, we'll send you the information. October 29 at a restaurant and hall. See, coming together with other people to large groups will have a louder voice. So we need to support each other. This group here usually is known for its help to the needy in Washington, to the hungry, to people who need help. And it is Christians and Muslim together, working together. But it's called Muslim Response. So the Muslims are leading this particular effort. If you're not familiar with the group, let me know. I'll send you their poster. They have a poster. I can show it to you right here. It's on my Facebook, and I can send it to you personally if you like to participate. So thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. All right, so inshallah we'll
we see you next Sunday, inshallah.
Yeah, on Saturday there's Rise for Hunger at the event with the Shepherd, the Church of Good Shepherd. I think they sent.
I think Brother Hugh sent me email. We can maybe join them, and because I think it's about fighting hunger or something.
Yes.
You remember?
But right now they're gonna do a fundraiser, and it's all going to go to Gaza.
No, this is different. We're talking about Brother Hugh from the Good Shepherd Church.
Yeah.
They have something next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on Saturday, on 21st, they have, I think, food packages, Rising for Hunger. I forgot. Yeah. And then it's between 10 to 12, and the other group is 3, I think, 1 to 3 maybe. Yeah.
Let's support them and let's coordinate, and we all will go over there.
Inshallah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.